When Caddo Bossier voters approved a tax renewal for the Port Commission, they essentially gave the port the green light to move forward with their land expansion plan to buy 3,000 more acres. The Port Commission says they need the land to attract big industries to create jobs, but the property they're looking to buy is concerning for neighbors nearby.
We all feel that the area that we live in is going to be affected by this quite seriously.
George Carroll and Joe Johnson actively campaigned against the tax renewal.
So as far as I'm concerned, the tax issue is done. What my goal is now is what it's always been, the protection of private property rights.
They have a personal stake in what the Port Commission does because their homes in the Harts Island community are literally surrounded by port lands. The highlighted area on this map is where they live compared to the gray shaded area the port owns.
It's too late for us. We are surrounded by the port.
The property known as the Couples property is currently the port's largest available tract of land, according to port documents. But because it's zoned residential agriculture, big industrial companies can't use it. A key reason why the port is looking elsewhere to expand.
We want to see what the next shoe is fixing to drop as far as what the port is going to do in our area.
The Port Commission has completed a land expansion study, and you can see on this map right here what areas they're looking to purchase. You may notice candidate site C and candidate site E back right up into residential neighborhoods. Right now I'm standing in front of candidate site C, but you don't need a map to be able to tell how close it is to homes. You can just look and see there's a home right across the street.
This is going to affect everybody. It's not just us. We just happen to be on the front lines right now.
Joe and George have both reached out to those communities with the news.
We want to let them understand what could be coming to them as well.
When you look at it, what's concerning to you?
Just about everything about the map is concerning.
Gloria Rains lives in Pepperidge, a community that borders land the port is eyeing.
And we're not talking about 1, 2, 3, 4 houses. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes that would be impacted.
Gloria says it's hard to see how many neighborhoods are in the area looking at it from Highway 1.
Under all of the trees are homes, lots and lots of homes.
She invited me to ride along and get a first-hand look at the potentially affected communities.
I think all of this is what they're wanting to buy.
Sure enough, even more so than the map indicates, the port's potential properties are not far at all from several homes and edges of neighborhoods like 12 Oaks and Pepperidge.
When people say not my backyard, now see here, you see all that plowed ground? That's how close it comes to these houses.
If the land is purchased by the port, Gloria plans to fight any zoning changes the same way George and Joe did years ago, whose homes haven't always been surrounded by port lands. According to port documents we received through a public records request, the port bought the 247-acre tract of land from former Port Commissioner Milton Williams in 2009 for $2.6 million. Both neighbors say they felt blindsided by the purchase.
We never received a phone call, didn't even know it was for sale, but immediately they moved to zone it heavy industrial. Now what that is smokestack type factory operations 24/7, right beside our homes.
According to the Metropolitan Planning Commission meeting minutes from 2011, people living in the Hart Island community protested and submitted a petition to the MPC opposing the port's application to rezone the land for industrial use. The MPC asked the port to revise its site plan to better protect the neighbors. And the zoning didn't change. The neighbors plan to fight again if the issue is brought up again.
If necessary, I will file lawsuits and go all the way to the Supreme Court. I am not going to be run over and bullied like that.
Gloria says her neighbors are slowly becoming aware of the port's expansion plans.
Every phone call I've gotten and every person I've been in contact with is just as upset and concerned as I am.
Concerned homeowners filled the seats at a recent Port Commission meeting.
There's going to be resistance.
They showed up to learn about what's happening next and speak up about their concerns.
There will be a lot of scrutiny and a lot of oversight from the community.
Executive Port Director Eric England encourages neighbors to reach out to the port with questions. We asked him to respond to the concerns he's heard so far.
Citizens have made their concerns known to us about smokestacks, and the perception of those types of industry can be overcome with a simple drive to the port.
He says the types of industries they'll be recruiting will be similar to what's currently at the port. As for buying the land, the commission won't move forward with seriously looking at the land that borders the neighborhoods for at least another year until the Highway 3132 extension route is set in stone.
We're just in the early steps. So if citizens have concerns, they have plenty of opportunity to let us know, whether individually or in a public meeting.
The year-long delay doesn't make Gloria feel any better.
If I were on the Port Commission right now, I'd be wanting to play a waiting game, hoping that all these irate neighbors would just settle down and forget about it and go away, which of course no one's going to do.
As for the Harts Island community, Joe feels like they've existed in a state of limbo ever since learning of the port's purchase near their homes. They feel like they constantly have to guard against the rezoning of the land.
It is exhausting, but we're going to continue doing it. We are not stopping, period. We're not giving up.
Joe, along with neighbors and the communities possibly affected, vowed to keep a sharp eye on what the Port Commission does moving forward. In Caddo Parish, Victoria Shirley, KSLA News 12.